Hey guys, welcome to another quick tutorial. We should be done in about 10 minutes or so. This is going to be about a scrolling display, whatever you want to call it. Let's have a look first. So it is this, some nice scrolling text. You see some reflections of the light of the text on the outside, on the frame, and also on the floor. You see a bit of ambient occlusion there, and of course the scrolling text itself, which is, as some of you may not be surprised about, based on particles. I'll be using the P custom tool. Now, I won't be going into a lot of detail. This is going to be, as said, a short sort of overview. I'm not going to recreate a full composition, but instead I will make the project file available for download on my website. So that is a Blackbird called sue.com. So that should be available at the time that this will be out there on YouTube. Yeah, so let's have a look. So first of all, we have some text. That is here in the text tool. Of course, you can change the text here to your liking. You can change the font, the size, and everything. One thing of note is the image size. If you have any issues with some flickering text or maybe some pixels that go off and on, that could be down to interpolation. What I would recommend is then to increase the image size, but keep the same ratio, because everything in this template is built on this ratio. Of course, you can change the color and everything, everything you want really. One more thing. The scroll speed or the scrolling speed is governed by a little expression here. You can change that, of course, but right now it is, I think, a pretty good speed. Next thing up, right, it would be the particle system. So if I have a look at the system itself, right, you can see some very ugly particles. This is based on the P custom, and now if you're interested in some more detail here, I would advise you to check out my Unleash the Power of Particles tutorial. I'll try to provide a link there as well. But in short, again, I'll be making use of expressions. One of these is, or two of these are there to make a grid. And then the other important thing here is to basically get the data of the input, which is the text. And you get that with this particular expression, get R1 and D. Essentially, you're reading the red channel here, the green channel there, and the blue channel there. And I do a bit of a maths magic to get the right coordinates and such. But more on that in another tutorial. So once we've done that, we basically want to replace these particles by 3D spheres. So then you essentially get this, right? Let me see if you can see it a bit better now. Next one up, let's move over here. Here you can see a floor is added, and you see some reflections. Now, for those folks interested, two things are important here. First of all, we've got a frame around the billboard, and it has some reflections there. Maybe to make it a bit easier to see, let's have a look at the sort of rendered image. You can see it over here. So first of all, we built the billboard here, or the frame of the billboard, and essentially we're faking some reflection by taking the original text, merging that with a merge material or material merge node, with a built-in, a Fusion built-in shader. You can pull up the shaders by doing Control B. Have a look at the shaders, and I think the one I used was brushed metal or something like that. So I used that combined with the text itself. Text itself was a bit blurred, and then with the UV map, you basically get it projected, sort of projected onto the frame. So that's how I recreated the reflections here. Similarly, on the ground, we're using some reflections as well. We do it with an image plane. Let me show you. Here, first of all, is the text upside down or mirrored, right? As a reflection would be. Then we do a bit of a magic and ultimately we blur it out, add some brightness, and put it on an image plane and pop it underneath the frame. And that's basically all there is to it. One maybe final thing to mention here, this particular one has a bit of ambient occlusion as well. You can see that here. It does cause this rendering to slow down a bit, but it's worth it, I think. Maybe if you want to tweak it a bit more, do take particular care of the render settings, right? If you want to do the ambient occlusion, you need to have, I think, a Z pass and a normal pass as well. But essentially, once everything's been done, you just add a saver. You can see it here, but on the in the downloaded template, I will have removed that. So add your own saver, and then Bob's your proverbial uncle. You're ready to render. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is the fact that we use a trails tool as well to recreate a sort of a glow around it. I suppose a bit of a trail behind the text, so it's a ghost-like trail, if you will. When you use that, just be aware that you when you preview the rendering, you may need to restart it from time to time, otherwise it keeps building up. Right, so yeah, that's it. If you guys like it, please hit the like button, and if you've got any questions whatsoever, please drop me a comment. All right, thanks very much. Take care, guys.